Hello, I'm Chrispy, also sometimes known as Pikey or Iggy Azalea, which is a joke name that went on way too long. One of the leaders at Team ESF, a competitive branch of the ESF gaming community run by Snip. I was also the in-game leader during matches and scrims for majority of the time I spent in the team. I also served whenever necessary as an admin for CCS, Champions Combat Series, which was a Battlefield 4 league run by Simtic people. I'm gonna try to do some content now for the YouTube channel instead of just dumping a bunch of recorded rounds, and maybe it's too late, maybe it's not. So Battlefield 1 is out. I'm sure you all know. Due to various reasons, though, I hadn't quite had the time to sit down and really sink my teeth into Battlefield 1 on any level, which is quite the opposite of what I expected heading into Battlefield 1. This was due to various things happening in my life, job change, a PC rig change, as well as hours and hours of overclocking and tweaking that followed. And the competitive scene, which has been my sole and primary reason to play this game, being completely and utterly dead on arrival. And all of this meant I just didn't have the personal interest, time, nor the social community obligation to play it. Anyways, I was recently able to really finally get a proper weekend playing Battlefield 1 after having been stuck playing at most like 2 to 3 hours a week since the game came out. And then I hope I will be able to keep playing a lot going forward. Anyways, I'm still really shaking off my general gaming rust, and I've barely gotten my head nor my hands really wrapped around this game, and then it's quite new as well. So if you see anything wholly, or if you find most of the things you see are wholly unremarkable, hopefully that will change soon going forward. Despite most of my experience and background in the competitive scene actually being based in the conquest mode, the mode with all the vehicles and crap, I've actually mostly been sticking to infantry modes like War Pigeon and Domination, since my biggest concerns with the game when seeing it in the closed alpha and the beta were mostly to do with the infantry combat mechanics. I can't say much about it just yet, especially while I'm still trying to get better at playing the game and getting used to it. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of my old teammates, friends, and acquaintances in the comp scene already give the game a go on their own, and a lot of them simply just dropped out, swore off the whole series, or some of them went back to Battlefield 4, and that was actually the case for majority of the people I knew in the competitive scene. And based on what I see and hear, as a whole, a good portion of them at the very least, at least the majority of them. Anyways, patches have been out, and apparently the competitive scene might be actually able to make a comeback if there are any people left, since DICE has actually finally put the passworded servers in the pipeline, which was the biggest obstacle for the competitive scene actually taking off. So I decided to that, and now that I finally have time, I'm gonna be giving the game a go. From these video series I kind of plan on doing, we'll hopefully be able to cover some of my take on it, and I could also on the side kind of try and disclose the little I know and explore what I can of the competitive scene, as well as going over some of the more general stuff about the competitive player mindset, maybe even some skill sets, the little that I'm aware of or familiar with anyway. And if I can even establish some kind of an audience, and I can successfully bug some people, I could even try and get some more relevant and more respected and better known names in the competitive scene, both from North America as well as Europe, going forward. But yeah, so that's the game plan. But before I move on, I do want to give a shout out and a big heartfelt thanks to Q-Fire, a teammate of mine, and now actually a personal friend in life, ever since him and his family moved out to where I live. He was also a fellow team leader and the founder of the ESF's competitive division. He helped me out by hooking me up with his old streaming PC, which was still a big upgrade over my older PC, at a steal of a bargain. Shit, speaking of which, I gotta pay him back. Anyways, I built on that rig, along with the successful sale of my older PC, the one before, which, by the way, I would not have sold without another help from another teammate of mine, JamieNoonz, who made a very generous donation of a pretty much brand new GTX 1060 a few months back, when for my older PC. That, and also liberal usage of my Dell and Amazon credit line, I was actually able to get my current and new PC up and running, and it's going to keep me going for at least a couple of years, which I'll hopefully spend making some videos, being productive with it, and also, continuing to play in the competitive scene for Battlefield 1, if it actually does return. I know like probably 30 to 40 people watch this video, and they probably don't give a fuck about all this, but I just still wanted to give a big thanks to those people, at least on somewhat of a public platform. So big thank you. Anyways, I've babbled on long enough, so that's it. If you're desperately running out of content to watch on YouTube and you can't take another PewDiePie video, which are kind of good actually, or if you actually liked what I proposed, or what you saw, or even if you're just remotely curious, even morbidly curious, please do subscribe and come back and actually watch my stuff. I promise I'll try and have something good to watch. Anyways, I hope to catch you in the next one. Thank you for watching, and until then, take care.